attract what you are, not what you want. Let that disturb you for a second. Because if your life looks nothing like the dream, if your results are small, your income is weak, your relationships are hollow, then maybe the problem isn't in what you desire. Maybe it's in what you are. Everyone's chasing something. Money, status, power, respect. They read books. They chase hacks. They hustle harder. But they never stop to look in the mirror and ask the one question that changes everything. What frequency am I operating on? Because life doesn't give you what you wish for. It gives you what you match. The universe is a mirror, and it's brutally honest. It won't lie to make you feel better. It won't distort itself to fit your fantasies. It reflects back the energy you emit, not the one you pretend to live by. You can beg for success, but if the frequency you're transmitting is fear, doubt, self-loathing, and procrastination, then all you're doing is tuning into more failure. You can chant affirmations until your throat goes dry. But if your emotional signature is rooted in unworthiness, your results will betray your intentions every time. That's why you see people with raw talent go nowhere, and people with average skills dominate the world. It's not luck. It's not fate. It's frequency. So let's strip away the illusions. Let's tear the veil from your eyes. Let's stop treating success like some far-off destination and reveal the truth most people are too afraid to accept. Success is not a goal. It's a frequency. And until you become the match, you'll never hold it. This isn't just about positive thinking. This is about vibrational alignment. And in the next sections, we'll break it down piece by piece. What keeps you stuck, how to recalibrate your vibration, and how to embody the frequency of success so deeply that your very presence becomes a magnet for everything you once had to chase. Now listen carefully, because what follows will separate the signal from the static. Part 1. The lie of the finish line. Most people live their lives like they're running a race toward a trophy that doesn't exist. They treat success like it's some destination at the end of a long, painful road. They believe that once they get there, they'll finally be free. Free to rest. Free to be loved. Free to feel worthy. But this is the great lie. The illusion that keeps millions stuck in a loop of burnout, disappointment, and quiet desperation. Because the truth is brutal. There's no finish line. No moment where the heavens part and declare you successful enough. No permanent arrival. And if you don't learn to vibrate at the level of your desire now, you'll never reach a place where it feels real. Think about this. How many people do you know who reached a goal only to fall apart afterward? They lost the weight, but still hated themselves. They made the money, but still felt broke inside. They got the title, the house, the applause, and yet they couldn't shake the feeling of emptiness. That's because success doesn't reward effort alone. It responds to alignment. And alignment doesn't wait until you arrive. It demands that you become the person now, before the results show up. Because the law of vibration doesn't recognize your bank account or your follower count. It recognizes your state, the internal environment you carry every day. So while others are sprinting toward a finish line that keeps moving, you must stop and realize success isn't something you get. It's something you generate. And that generation begins inside. It begins when you stop saying, "Once I have it, I'll feel powerful," and start saying, "Once I feel powerful, I'll have it." It begins when you stop living in the waiting room of your own life. Because the universe doesn't pay attention to your calendar. It pays attention to your frequency. And every second you spend chasing success as if it's outside of you is a second spent repelling it. Because what you chase, you reinforce as missing. Let that sink in. You say, I want success. But the vibration underneath is, I don't have it. And so that's what you attract. More lack, more waiting, more distance. So the first shift is this: burn the map. Forget the finish line. Kill the idea that success is some future prize. And instead, tune your energy into becoming it now. Because only when your thoughts, emotions, and identity start vibrating in harmony does the world begin to change around you. And suddenly, success is no longer a destination. It's the frequency you live by. It's the rhythm you move with. And it starts answering you, without begging, without force. This is not about someday. It's about right now. Not when you arrive, but when you awaken. Part 2. Your vibration is your identity. Success doesn't speak in words. It listens in frequencies. And the frequency it hears the loudest is who you are, not who you pretend to be, not who you post online, not who you dream of becoming one day, but who you are right now, in your raw, unfiltered inner state. See, people make the mistake of thinking vibration is just thought. So they repeat positive affirmations like mantras. I'm rich. I'm powerful. I'm worthy. But deep down, the vibration is screaming something very different. I'm scared. I'm not enough. I don't believe any of this. And guess what? That deeper signal always wins. Because vibration is not mental wallpaper. It's your energetic blueprint. It's what's encoded in your nervous system, your habits, your posture, your tone, your beliefs, your memories. It's in your emotions, your body language, your reactions when no one's watching. It's not what you say when you're motivated. It's who you become when pressure hits. So understand this: your vibration is your identity. And your identity is not fixed by logic. It's formed by repetition, experience, and the stories you keep telling yourself. You want to change your life? Don't just change your goals. Change your identity. Because the universe only mirrors what you believe yourself to be. This is why two people can be given the same opportunity, and one becomes a legend, while the other loses everything. Not because one worked harder, but because one had the frequency that matched the result. The other didn't. That's the brutal truth. If you vibrate at the frequency of doubt, you will sabotage every opportunity. If you vibrate at the frequency of lack, you will unconsciously repel abundance. If you vibrate at the frequency of unworthiness, love will avoid you, even if you crave it. So ask yourself, what are you rehearsing every day? Not in your schedule, but in your state. What emotional frequency is running through your system like background noise? Because that noise becomes your music. And that music either attracts your dream or poisons it. This is why you can't fake your way into success. Because success doesn't respond to costume. It responds to resonance. You don't get rich by acting rich. You get rich by becoming someone who vibrates at the level of abundance. With discipline, clarity, boldness, and certainty. You don't become powerful by faking confidence. You become powerful when your vibration is rooted in truth. And truth feels stable, unshakable, certain. It doesn't need to convince. It simply is. So if you want more, stop asking for it. Start embodying it. Live as if you already have the frequency of the life you want. Because the moment you believe it, the universe does too. Your results will always catch up with your frequency. So calibrate wisely. You are your own signal tower, and the world is just echoing back what you're transmitting. Part 3. Harmony is power. Let's get one thing straight. You cannot vibrate at the level of success in your mind while your life screams chaos. You cannot force abundance in your thoughts while your habits worship scarcity. You cannot declare inner peace when your nervous system is addicted to war. And this is the failure point for most people. They try to compartmentalize their vibration. They meditate for 10 minutes, then scroll through garbage for hours. They visualize wealth, then hang around people who constantly complain about being broke. They say, "I'm working on myself," but their daily rituals, their space, their sleep, their food, their conversations, all vibrate at the level of confusion, weakness, and decay. Let me be blunt. There is no such thing as a high vibration mind inside a low vibration life. If your thoughts say one thing, but your environment, your actions, your emotions say another, you are not aligned. You are not magnetic. You are conflicted. And the universe feels that contradiction. That's why you can't just think your way into success. You must harmonize your entire being. Harmony means everything in your life is playing the same music. Your mind, your body, your emotions, your environment, your routines, your relationships, all tuned to the same station: elevation, precision, clarity, truth. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being coherent. When your thoughts are aligned with your emotions, and your emotions aligned with your actions, you become unstoppable. Because now you're not sending mixed signals. You're broadcasting one powerful frequency without distortion, and in a world full of noise and static, that kind of clarity cuts through everything. So ask yourself, do your habits reflect the life you say you want? Does your circle uplift or drain you? Does your daily energy feel ordered or scattered? Does your physical space reflect abundance or clutter? Do your words carry conviction or cowardice? You cannot elevate if your surroundings are sinking. You cannot become powerful while tolerating the weak. You cannot rise while making excuses for environments that kill your growth. And yes, it might mean cutting people off. It might mean leaving comfort behind. It might mean walking alone for a while, in silence, in discomfort, in solitude. But make no mistake, harmony is power, and disharmony is decay. Every contradiction in your life is a leak in your vibration. Every compromise is a slow death to your potential. So if you want to rise, you must become ruthless. Ruthless in protecting your vibration. Ruthless in choosing alignment over acceptance. Ruthless in pursuing coherence over chaos. Because success doesn't show up because you're trying hard. It shows up because you've become a clear channel for its frequency. And when you harmonize every layer of your life with the vibration of your vision, doors open, paths reveal themselves, and what you once chased now begins to chase you. Part 4. The recalibration process. So you've seen the lie of the finish line. You understand your vibration is your identity. You know now that harmony, not hustle, is the true amplifier of power. But now comes the blood and bone of transformation. Recalibration. See, it's not enough to know you've been vibrating wrong. It's not enough to be aware of your contradictions. Knowing the truth doesn't shift the frequency. Living it does. And the process of recalibration is not pretty. It's not gentle. It's not a weekend seminar or a new morning routine. It's a full-scale dismantling of everything that no longer matches who you are becoming. Because the version of you that wants success, it's still dragging dead weight. Old beliefs, old habits, old guilt, old identities built in survival mode. And as long as those fragments remain unburned, your signal will stay scrambled. So here's the cold truth. You cannot raise your frequency and keep the life you built on a lower one. Recalibration means death. The death of comfort. The death of shallow relationships. The death of identities that made you feel safe, but kept you small. It means staring into your inner rot and saying, no more. No more saying yes when your soul screams no. No more shrinking for fragile people. No more playing roles just to be accepted. No more vibrating at the level of mediocrity just to blend in. You don't recalibrate with half measures. You recalibrate with fire. You burn the excuses. You fast from the poison. You unplug from noise and plug into truth. You shed your ego layer by painful layer. You forgive what broke you but never return to it. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about becoming someone real. The one that's been buried beneath false identities and emotional scars. And the deeper you recalibrate, the more silent it gets. You won't get applause. You won't be understood. You won't be celebrated for shedding the mask. But you will feel something stronger than approval. Alignment. And alignment is a sacred power. Because when your entire being, your thoughts, your emotions, your nervous system, your routines, all lock into the same vibration, your reality shifts. Not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped blocking it. Recalibration is the collapsing of the false self. It's saying, I'm done negotiating with weakness. It's deciding to live by the code of who you're meant to be, even if no one sees it yet. And that's the secret most won't tell you. You must become it in the dark, in the silence, in the isolation, before the world reflects it in the light. You don't wait for life to crown you successful. You crown yourself in the fire. You calibrate your entire frequency to the energy of your future. And once that becomes your norm, the world has no choice but to respond. Not out of pity, not out of luck, but out of law. Because the universe doesn't obey hope. It obeys vibration. And recalibration is how you speak its language. Part 5. Final warning. Let this part hit harder than the rest, because it will save you years of delusion. Too many people hear this message and get excited. They feel inspired. They start talking about energy. They light candles. They buy crystals. They download high-vibe playlists and write out their manifestations. But nothing changes. Why? Because they mistake temporary motivation for true transformation. They think hearing the truth is the same as living it. They confuse emotional highs with spiritual upgrades. But the frequency of success isn't a mood. It's not a weekend retreat. It's not a 30-day challenge. It's a permanent state of war between who you've been and who you're becoming. And most won't survive that war. Not because they're weak, but because they refuse to die. See? The real version of you. The one vibrating at the level of abundance, clarity, power, peace. It already exists. But it's buried beneath layers of trauma, lies, addiction, comfort, distraction, and cowardice. And every day you live as the old self, you dig the grave a little deeper. So here's the warning. If you don't consciously raise your vibration, you will unconsciously lower it to match your surroundings. That's how people get stuck. Not in chains, not in failure, but in familiarity. They keep replaying the same story because it's safe, because it's known, because it doesn't require death and rebirth. But if you truly want to rise, you must die to who you were. And most importantly, you must let go of the need to be understood while you do it. Because when you begin to vibrate higher, you'll become unrecognizable to those still living in low frequency. They'll say you've changed. They'll call you arrogant, cold, distant. They'll try to pull you back down with guilt, jokes, silence, passive aggression. Ignore it. You were never meant to stay in the cage they accepted. You were meant to raise the signal, to clear the static, to become the lighthouse for others too afraid to burn. And here's what you must remember. The higher you vibrate, the more your reality accelerates. Time bends, opportunities multiply, clarity sharpens. The universe begins to respond immediately, because now you are a clear match. But if you ever slip back into the frequency of your old self, you'll feel it. The anxiety, the doubt, the internal chaos. Because once you've touched alignment, anything less becomes unbearable. So stay sharp, stay clean, stay ruthless. Don't just raise your frequency, protect it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your life is not defined by what you've done, but by what you radiate. And every single moment, you're either tuning into your destiny or distorting it. This is your final warning. Success is not a goal to chase. It's a vibration to become. And if you ever forget that, your results will remind you. Brutally. Without mercy. Because the universe doesn't care what you want. It only echoes what you are. And it's time you decide, once and for all, what are you becoming? What are you broadcasting? And what price are you willing to pay to never vibrate low again? Part 6. The signal never stops. You do. Here's the most twisted part of all this. The law of vibration is always working. Not just when you feel good, not just when you're in alignment, not just when you're meditating, visualizing, or doing your morning routine. It's always on. It never shuts off. Like a frequency tower broadcasting your emotional and energetic blueprint to the universe. 24/7. Even when you're asleep. Even when you're numb. Even when you're lost in distraction, pain, or self-pity. The signal doesn't stop. You do. You get lazy with your energy. You forget your power. You default back to autopilot. And in that moment, your old frequency takes the wheel. And your life? It begins to collapse into the same broken pattern that's always haunted you. This is why most people live in cycles. They think they're cursed. They think the universe hates them. But what they don't realize is this. They never stopped vibrating the same signal. Pain becomes their identity. Struggle becomes their comfort zone. And mediocrity becomes their frequency. But the truth? The signal to abundance, love, power, and purpose. It never stopped. It's always broadcasting. You just didn't match it. You weren't tuned in. You were too distracted by noise, too attached to pain, too unwilling to let go of your past self. Let me say it clear. The life you want is not on the way. It's already here, already vibrating, already echoing through the fabric of the universe. But you're not going to see it until you become it. Your energy is your access. Your inner world is your ticket. Your frequency is your reality. So the question isn't, how do I find the right frequency? The question is, what is stopping me from holding it relentlessly? It's not that success disappears. It's that you fall out of range. And what pulls you out of range? Excuses, old emotions, toxic environments, low vibration people, addictions to comfort, delusions of time. You start strong, then life punches you. And instead of responding with discipline, you respond with default. You forget that your signal doesn't pause because you're tired. The universe still listens, and it answers you according to your current broadcast. So if you're radiating pain, bitterness, guilt, fear, resentment, that's what you'll continue to receive. Not because you're unlucky, but because you've chosen to stay in range of that energy. And if you want something different, you must move. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Shift your thoughts, change your state, upgrade your environment, and rise like your life depends on it. Because it does. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for your friends to catch up. Don't wait for your trauma to be fully healed. Success won't slow down for you. The frequency is already moving, with or without you. You either evolve fast enough to ride it, or stay where you are and watch it disappear. Again. So this is your wake-up call. Stop treating your energy like a part-time project. It's your full-time responsibility. You must live, breathe, eat, move, and vibrate like the highest version of yourself, relentlessly. Because the frequency is always there. The signal never stopped. You did. Now, tune in, hold it, and never drop the signal again. Now that the static is cleared, listen closely. You've just been handed a truth most people never hear in their entire lives. That success is not a goal. It's a frequency. Not a destination you stumble upon, but a signal you must match, moment by moment, breath by breath. Let's remind ourselves what that really means. Step 1. The lie of the finish line. You were never meant to chase success like a prize. That's the illusion. Success isn't a reward at the end of suffering. It's a state you generate from within. You don't arrive at success. You become it. Step 2. Your vibration is your identity. Not your words, not your dreams, not your social media posts, but your subconscious self-image, your beliefs, your emotions, and your internal atmosphere. The universe responds to what you are, not what you pretend to be. Step 3. Harmony is power. You cannot think high and live low. Your thoughts, emotions, environment, and actions must all play the same music. When your entire life vibrates in unison, you become unstoppable. Scattered energy is broken energy. Alignment is a weapon. Step 4. The recalibration process. Transformation doesn't happen through comfort. It happens through death. You must kill the outdated version of yourself, and then rebuild, piece by piece, a life that resonates with truth. The old you cannot follow you where you're going. Step 5. Final warning. This isn't a vibe. It's a discipline. If you don't fiercely protect your frequency, the old world will reclaim you. You can't fake this. You can't dip your toe in. You must live in your new vibration, or be dragged back into your old one. Step 6. The signal never stops. You do. The law of vibration is always active. Every moment, you're broadcasting a signal, whether you're aware or not. So if you're not consciously transmitting the energy of your desired life, you're unconsciously repeating the frequency of your past. And that's the truth no one wants to face. Your life is not waiting for a miracle. It's waiting for you to match it, to own the vibration of your future now, to live like your goals are already real. Because only then will the world finally mirror back what you've been screaming for all along. So here's the last question. Will you keep chasing success from the outside? Or will you recalibrate from the inside and become the signal that bends reality? The choice is yours. The frequency is already there. Now match it, maintain it, and never lower it again. To the returning warriors, thank you for rising with us once more. And to the new ones just tuning in, welcome to the dark signal of truth. Subscribe, join the movement, and live the frequency of power every damn day. Because around here, we don't chase success, we become it.